Yeah. You know what it is. Another episode of the Miller Experience Overtime. We got two special guests today, Soul Touch and Jason. I want to thank you guys for coming on. I believe you guys are Trump supporters. You know, we're going to have a little healthy debate today. Are you Soul Touch? I'm not sure. Are you?
I'm not a Trump supporter, no.
Okay, cool. My bad. I'm sorry to throw you in, Jason. My apologies. My bad. Hey, before we get started, I just want to thank everybody for watching and subscribing to the channel right now. Currently, we have 712 subscribers. I told you our goal by January is at least get to 1,000. Also, it's getting cold soon, guys. We're going to have the Train So Hard University cheat day hoodies coming out. I'm wearing the white one, but we're going to have the black and red ready soon. All right, so if you're interested, you can hit me up on my social media. It's Caliber Mill. That's on Facebook. On Instagram, you can hit me up on _ the Mill Experience. Or just hit me up on YouTube, and, you know, we can see what we can get for you. All right, guys. So, you know, Tuesday, November 5th was a legendary day for whoever you was voting for. If you're Republican, Democrat, or Independent, it was legendary. Trump won. He gonna say by a landslide, but it wasn't a landslide. What's your guys' thoughts? Let's start with Craig.
Oh man, I'm still looking for them 20 million votes, as I told you. He said more people voted this year than last year. I mean, the last time Biden won by how many? Was it 8 million, 10 million, something like that?
20.
Mm-hmm.
20.
Excuse me?
20
million.
Yep.
I want to know where those votes are.
I think maybe the reference was more turnout, like actual, not mail-in ballots, but people turned out at the polls. That I'm looking for it too, because it is a question I heard y'all talking about. So I'm trying to see what the total count was.
Yeah. I think they say something about January. They have those numbers, but anyway, I'm appalled. I'm appalled by people who say that they're for democracy, and they say they're for, a better lives for themselves and their children. I don't see it in this election cycle. Personally, I don't see it. Because if it was, I think the outcome would have been different. Me personally, in my opinion, you see where there's one side that's for the people. And that's why they always say, put it on the ballot so the people can vote for it. The other side doesn't want those things on the ballot because they want to make those decisions themselves. I don't care to say that people are stupid in any way. I believe that there's an ignorance, and I believe that, unfortunately, racism played a part in this. And it's sad. Let me see what you guys got to say. I'm still messed up by it. I ain't kidding you. I'm still, you know that, Ernest.
Yeah.
Hey,
Jason, before we get Soul Touch, tell the people a little something about yourself, and then let's get your thoughts.
All right, so I'm Soul Toucher, full lead by Soul Toucher the Poet. I'm a host of the King and I Life podcast. I also have my own poetry podcast, Trek Through Poetry. Been Democratic voter. I have 29 and a half years military between active duty, Army National Guard, and Air National Guard. And as far as my feelings, thoughts, and opinion, I'm appalled as well. And for some of the same reasons Craig said, where was decency? Where was maturity? Where was balance, fairness? I believe there was a lot of sexism and racism in there.
I agree.
I also think there is overall a misguided sense of the economy when it comes to that, and just an overall ignorance to voting, period.
What about you, Jason? We know where you stand, so let's go hear you, man. Talk to us.
I don't think there is any ignorance in this country. I think people were tired of paying, and I can use this as just a small example. Diet Coke And I drink, that's my coffee. Okay. A case of Diet Coke was $7.29 in 2020.
Stop right there, right? Real good, Jason. You putting Coke in your body, bro?
Put Diet Coke in my body. That's my
You don't
coffee.
give a damn. This Coke.
Yeah, I know.
You see that stuff, man. Take gunk off batteries, man.
Hey, check this out.
There's no ignorance. There's no ignorance.
There's no ignorance.
I can do that, or I can take pain medicine, which is addictive and destructive to every organ. So I take my Diet Coke and use it versus taking a bunch of pain pills from out of the pain I'm in. You can see where they cut into my throat, and it went to my spine. So, but as I was saying, $7.29, and now it's $12.99, and it was as high as $14.99. Now everybody uses the same. Well, Trump got a good economy and Biden got a bad. No. COVID was already a year in the circle. Okay, so the gas we paid for right here in Manning, and Miller, you know this, is usually about 20 to 30% or 20 to 30% cents a gallon higher than it is in Sumter. So if you pay, let's say, $2.25 here, you'll probably pay $1.95 there to $1.90, give or take. And that was in December. By 1 year in office, second year of COVID, we were over $4 a gallon. And people see this, and now they're saying, oh, it's coming down. It's magically coming down. No, we have to exercise how that particular election went and how this one went. That one went with a lot of people being pissed off because Trump, the way he speaks to other people, the media, so
and about, correct?
Yes.
You and about.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Okay. People are mad about that, right? So they said, we got to get him out of here. He doesn't reflect what we have a stigma of a president. And so Trump made the statement. He said, if you elect Joe Biden, the country's going to go to hell in a handbasket. And a lot of Americans see it that way. And I can honestly say that with the amount of votes that came out, with the amount of turnout, with the amount with him winning the election like this, it may have, in some people, it might be a landslide. In some people, it might not be a landslide. We go on the color of the map. We go on the amount of voters. I think there was a 5 million difference on votes, whatever. At the end of the day, people are searching for that inflation to come down so they can live a little more comfortably, especially those of us either on Social Security, disability, Social Security, excuse me, my voice going out.
Jason, who drives inflation? Does the president drive inflation?
What's that? One more time.
Who drives inflation? Does it the president drive inflation or does the people?
It is the decisions, some of the decisions of the president and the political power he has in order to sway things. And a good example, Trump used tariffs to keep things down and they further fell down. So he used those tariffs saying, okay, so if you want to rip us off, well, here's your tariff of 200%. Well, they didn't like that. So they said, okay, we'll meet you in the middle.
God.
And he was balancing it out.
So please go on that one. I'm gonna let you go ahead and go on that one. I'm gonna have to take it down.
So the numbers have been skewed. Go ahead. Here, that's the biggest problem we're having in research right now. When Trump left office, or when Trump was going against Biden, I looked up his numbers in the last month because I don't like spewing numbers that are not factual. And he did have the lowest unemployment of like 50 or 60 years.
And who had it since then?
Who's had
it since then?
Since Trump had it,
who's had it since?
There hasn't been one.
Oh my God.
No, no, because you have to research everything, right?
Jason,
just come out that the DOJ put false numbers out about crime being down, and it's actually up.
So, Jason,
where are you getting your news? Please tell me this.
From Congress.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Watched
Jason,
it myself.
No, you're not.
I watched it myself.
Jason, we both know that you're not.
No, that's a fact.
Guys, hold on.
Where you got that news from? Because you gave
Soul Toucher wanted to say something. Go ahead, Soul Toucher.
So when we're talking about who drives the economy, So we all know that every election cycle, the economy goes crazy. After the election is done, typically rates rise. We have to look at the rates of inflation or the economy the first year of that president's term and overall the 4 years of that term. Now, yes, Trump had high numbers, so did Obama, so did Bush, so did Biden. But we also have to look at the Fed, who makes the decision on interest. We also have to look at Congress, who controls the purse strings. We also have to look at economic factors around the world, globally. We have to look at what these corporations are doing as far as, manufacturing, supply and demand. We have to factor all of that in. So for anyone to say this president is responsible for good or this president is responsible for bad, it's kind of misleading. And that's the overall problem, because people think, oh, when Trump gets in office, things are going to be great. They may be great right now, but who's in office right now? Biden. Because I've seen a lot of people talk about, oh, after the election, interest rates shot up. Is that because of Trump or Biden? No, that's
I saw that today. Yeah,
that's because after every election, the whole mess of uncertainty is done. We know who the next president is going to be. But we have to look, plus we have to look at what's going on in other countries around the world. Right. Yes, they're looking at us, but they still have their own things going on. So if things get more expensive in China, it's going to be more expensive over here. We also have to look at this connected global economy that we have. Everybody talks stuff about China. Everybody talks stuff about Russia and all these other countries that we're enemies with. However, we are still conducting business with all of these countries. I don't think anybody sits down and looks at how many foreign countries and adversaries own land in America. Correct. I don't hear anybody talking about that anywhere.
Mm-hmm. What you got, Jay?
So political power plays a big role in all of this. And the better relationship you have with any country, will allow the cost of goods. You can fluctuate the cost of goods, the tariffs on those goods, and the taxes on those goods. Tariffs, taxes, same thing. At the end of the day, Trump's numbers, interest rates on mortgages went down the first year to 2.75%. I know I refied my house for that 2.75. During the Obama era, it was 4.25%. I'm sorry, 6.25%. 6.25%. You know how drastic of a payment that is for someone? That's huge. Google it.
Jason, that's misguided. I was in the industry. I was in the mortgage industry.
What's misguided?
And here's the thing. Obama did things to actually help the industry because of what happened in 2008. What he did with Bank of America as it relates to countrywide home loans, where he made these companies do loan modifications to try to help people stay in their homes and things of that nature. So that's misguided and misleading what you're talking about as far as interest rates as it relates to purchase housing.
No,
it is because
those are results. Those are real results.
Things in place. Listen, Jason, he put things in place that actually help the economy tremendously as it relates to purchasing homes, refinancing homes. I was in the industry. I know. You understand what I'm saying? I was there. So I know what Obama did to help as far as interest rates are concerned and keeping people in their homes. All right?
Okay, so
we're going to talk fact. If we're going to say something about opinion, then let us say, in my opinion.
Okay.
In other words, let's be pragmatic.
In my opinion, I bought my house in 2012 and my interest rate is 4.75.
Thank you.
So, and to add on to that,
so what president was that under?
Obama.
Let me look, because I look
at 2012. Yeah.
And another funny thing that recently saw, like, somebody on my Facebook thread, he posted something about he can't wait for Trump to get in office because he want to buy a house next year. And my thing was, well, why didn't you buy a house when Trump was in office those 4 years and you said the economy was so great? I mean, it's kind of mind blowing to me how, you know, some of the logic when it comes to some of that stuff.
I do know that all years of Trump's, since we're talking about homes, never went above 3.5%. And that's 4 years. So that's all 4 years to include COVID.
Okay,
Gas
I'm going to ask you
prices.
a question. What did Trump do to do that? What did Trump do to influence that rate?
Don't know off the top of my head. I cannot remember everything. We're that and that's. But here's the thing. That's what everybody always wants to come back with. Well, what does he do? Oh, okay. Then what did Joe do? Because they jumped from that 3.5 to 6.25 to 7.
Okay, here's the thing.
That's where people see the rationalization.
I'm gonna say this. With COVID, everything went haywire. Nobody was working. So when people went to work, you know, interest rates went up because obviously we had to get the economy going.
Mm-hmm.
So they took the interest rates up. The Feds, not Biden. Biden didn't press a button and say, send the interest rates up.
You don't think he has a say?
He gives straight autonomy to them, just like DOJ. That's your job.
Every president does that.
Yeah, he does that. You understand what I'm saying? So they did their job to get the economy back on track. All right. I don't say it was Trump. Trump killed the economy. Well, Trump did some things that hurt as far as killing regulations and things of that nature. Now, the interest rates went up because COVID devastated us. You understand?
The second year?
So they had to actually bring the economy, and Biden and, you know, his executives and people that he put in place did their job to get the economy to where it is right now, with inflation being 2.4%. You understand? So to get it where it is right now, they had to do what they went to school for or whatever, what they studied. They did their job. Biden did not get involved with that, because the best leaders get the best people around them to do their job, not to influence them, to make them look good, but to do their job for the better of this country.
Soul Toucher and Craig, let me ask y'all a question. What, in y'all opinion, as Harris supporters, what do you think, you know, caused the reason why she didn't win? What you think what the issue was?
I'm going to say America as a whole and Black men are not ready for a woman president. A lot of people, for whatever reason, were turned off because they did not have a choice in who was going to be the Democratic nominee, which I think is nonsense. And overall, I think in part, the overall Democratic message is a little off.
Yeah. What about you? What about you, Craig?
I would have to say, you know, to touch on what Soul Toucher said. Yeah, I don't think the country as a whole is ready for that. Now, granted, qualification-wise, she has the qualifications. She has the temperament.
Yeah.
She has the intelligence.
Yeah.
You understand? But from a standpoint of, like you said, people weren't ready for a woman, no less a Black woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's a shame. You know, when we say, as far as morally, you can't put them in the same category. In fact, you can't speak of them in the same sentence. Ethically, principally, I'll say the same. You know, for people to say, oh, I'm a Christian, and I'm voting my Christian values, I don't know what Christian values they are, because the God I serve says, love everyone.
Mm.
Love them as you love yourself. Treat people with respect and dignity. You know, a lot of people say, oh, go ahead and, you need to forgive, because Matthew 13:14 says, forgive your trespasses, you forgive those who trespass against you, or God will not forgive you your trespasses. But he also says, if you confess your sins, he's faithful and just to forgive you of your sins. So how can you forgive someone who's never shown contrition, who's never said, my bad, I'm sorry, who will only double down, who will only cause division?
Craig, we talking about politics, man. It's a cold world in politics, man. I don't think nobody.
It's a cold world in politics, but from my experience in my life, with him coming on the scene, this is the nastiest politics has been. I've seen back and forth throughout my life, but this is the nastiest that it's been. And what bothers me about that is people will dismiss what he says, how he says it, and then when someone says something back about him, he not only doubles down, but flares up. Oh, they're treating me like this. They're saying this and they're saying that. But it's like, look at all of what you said about everybody as a whole, and people are just focusing on what you are saying about everyone else.
So, Toucher, let me kind of play devil's advocate on that one, right? Is it that people is dismissing what he's saying? And again, I vote for Harris, so I'm not knocking what you're saying, but I'm just like play devil's advocate. Is people dismissing what he's saying, or they tired of hearing the politically correct answer and the BS answer, the machine type answer, and he's telling you how I'm feeling?
I would honestly say it's a bit of both, because I'm going to say I voted for Harris, and I'm going to say I got tired of hearing her say the same thing over and over and over.
And that was my issue. That was my issue. Even though I still voted for her, and Craig, we had this conversation. I said, man, she sounded like a robot. She keeps saying the same thing, like certain things she's dodging. Certain things she was saying trying to relate to blacks. Not all black people do that. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of offended me, because some of the stuff she talking about, collard greens, smoking weed and stuff, I don't do that. So how will you affiliate that to a black person? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
That's ridiculous. I didn't even hear that, but that's ridiculous now.
But Jason,
I'm glad you didn't hear that.
Jason, let me ask you this. Jason, let me ask you this. If Kamala did become president, everybody, what you think would have been the pros and cons of her if she became president?
I think we would have went into World War III. I don't think America would exist anymore. I think the dollar.
Hey, come on, Jason. Be real, man. Be serious, man. Come on, dude.
Jason.
Watching the dollar's value during the Biden administration go plummet.
Let's not do this.
Jason, come on, dude.
No,
come on.
You asked me a question, not Craig.
But Jason, hold on, Craig, hold on.
My opinion.
Jason, let's not go off emotion. Let's use some logic.
No, that's not emotion. Listen, you've got a president that can't stop a war, Joe Biden. He's not been able to stop the war. Right now, there's peace talks going on. Trump's not even the president. And
damn it, that's because Trump is calling this man to tell him not to do it. Trump and Elon Musk is in Putin's ear. You heard that.
That's right. You're correct. That's a great relationship. I'm glad they have a good relationship. I'm glad he has a good relationship with them. That's what world peace is about.
No.
It's either one of two things. It is one of two things. He's either got a great relationship with those people that he can say, listen, man, you got to squash this. We don't need this right now.
But
the
Jason,
world is suffering.
Jason, we know that that's not what he's saying. Just like he told Netanyahu, don't calm this down. Keep it going. Because he wants to be the hero. So people are dying, but he wants to be the hero.
You want to be
okay, watch this. Was there war under Trump? No. Was there war
Trump
under Biden?
It,
they
he wasn't going to give Ukraine what they needed.
They have no respect for Biden. I watched it. CNN.
Okay,
I'll say this.
Let me say this. He said something about war. Who brung up war? Trump said, if I don't win, there'll be a civil war.
Civil, meaning within ourselves.
It doesn't matter. War is war, and it shouldn't.
And why is that okay?
That's not.
Why is a civil war here okay?
Because he was looking at the fraud, and I'm still I'm not buying off on it, but I'm still waiting, like anyone else. All right, if there was fraud, if there was real fraud in the election, all this nonsense, right? If there was real fraud, bring it to light now. You're the president.
There was no fraud, Jay.
No, I'm not saying there was. What I'm telling you is a lot of people are saying, okay, if there was, you'll be the president. You can show us the actual evidence that the courts turned down. Okay. But he did establish a good rapport with the overseas folks. And I can tell you simply by watching one video, Trump walks into the room and they stand up for him and they shake his hand. Biden walked in the room and they didn't come unseated.
I don't think that's
respect.
I don't think that's a good measure of this.
Or if it's not respect, it's fear. Because you can control people by two means, either respect or fear.
Jason, he's a petulant child. He's a bully. We've established.
Okay. If he's a bully, did it work?
When he went before the UN, he pushed people out of the way. They lost respect for him. It's not about gaining respect at that point.
Where do you see that?
Do you understand?
The
bully.
Okay. If
here, Jason, I'm a little appalled by the way that you're talking about this. Like it's okay. It's not okay. This is not okay. His behavior is not okay. Don't sign off on that.
In some capacities, you are absolutely 100% correct.
All right, Jason, let me ask you this question. Okay. I know you're not racist. I know you from a long time. I'm just put this out here in this perspective, right? What if Kamala was running and then is a Democrat and we got a black Republican running as president, right? Mm-hmm. But he has the same values as Trump. Same mindset as Trump, but he's African-American. Will you still vote for him?
I will vote for the very best person I believe that will make the best change for Americans as possible. And Trump proved that to 82 million people, not just Jason's opinion.
I'm 82
you a question.
Million.
You ain't asking my question. I asked you, will you vote for him?
Yeah, yes, but here's the thing. I want to vote for the best person, so I can't say that I wouldn't vote for the woman or I would vote for the man. I don't care either way. I want to see the results. That's what everybody is focused on, is what that person can get done. So I would vote for a black man. I'd vote for a black woman. It don't matter to me. I don't care about the color. I want the best person for the job.
So if the black man that was Republican had the same
mindset as Trump,
and was saying the same thing as Trump, you would vote for that black Republican candidate?
If he was making results, yes.
James, no, you wouldn't, man.
Yes, he was making results.
I'm going to ask you a question. Jason, I'm going to ask you a question.
Bill Clinton.
It's a legitimate question. What policies did Trump enact that made this country so great under him?
Well, I can tell you, I kind of figured that question might come up.
Yeah.
Other than the First Step Act, please. Other than that,
because that wasn't him. That was done before him. But go ahead.
Well, I can't answer it directly. His foreign policy, yes, I can. His foreign policy was awesome policy, making people pay their fair share versus us picking up the bill for everybody else. But Biden reversed.
Wait. Let me stop you right there. Are you talking about NATO?
He is, but he doesn't. Really.
Yes.
Let me tell you something about NATO and what you're talking about. I need you to understand that the United States was in arrears with NATO for several years, okay? Until the Trump administration. I will give you this. We got caught up during the Trump administration, but prior to that, we were in debt to NATO. And I'm telling you this because I am taking a Homeland Security class, and I had to put this in one of my discussions to my class.
Okay.
We were in debt to NATO.
Okay.
Period.
So we paid under Trump, is what you're saying.
But what you're saying is Trump made other people pay up. You can't bully anybody into paying up when you are in debt.
Actually, you can, because
no. I'm talking morally and logically. How do you swing a big stick at people about paying their fair share when you are behind by millions?
Because we are a world power, and people want us there.
What the hell are you talking about? From a moral standpoint, no.
You can say that, but guess what? They all paid their fair share. We got caught up.
We had to pay ours.
We weren't paid our fair share.
Listen. You want to view the glass differently, and it's all the same. We're saying the same things. You just don't like the way I'm viewing it. You have the power, America. America was number one in control. Everybody comes to America to get aid if they're getting attacked, if they need food, if they need relief, whatever. They don't want America leaving NATO. And he said, you're going to pay your fair share, you're going to pay your fair share, or we're going to walk. And just like he did with the medical community. So they brought up theirs, we brought up ours, and guess what? America can pay their debt.
Jason, we're all in this together. No man is an island entire of itself. Each is a part of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less, as well as if a promontory were, as well as if a manor of thy own, as well as a manor of thy friend. Each man death diminishes me, for I am a part of mankind. So sin not for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee.
We're not giving a religious
lesson.
We're
in this together. We're all in this together.
You're correct.
Thank you.
And here's the thing. This is a great statement, okay? A lot of people say that Trump's 4 years were actions of Biden. Okay, he got a great economy, blah blah blah, and Biden's economy was a direct reflection of Trump, and he's to blame. So Trump gets no credit. Watch this. No matter who the president is, we know Trump's going to be the president. If we elect a president, and yes, it's we because it's a majority, leave the man alone. Let him do his job. And at the end of those 4 years, if he has failed us, you can run a show. And I will put my hand up and say I'm dead wrong. I was wrong. Okay?
His track record is
along
already
with
there.
82 million other voters.
His track record is already there.
Its track record is not there because
Yes,
the arguments.
What did he do to improve the economy that Obama didn't put in place? You never answered the question. But I can tell you, Biden did things to improve the economy, the country.
What? What did Biden do to improve the country?
Inflation Reduction Act. You understand?
You're at all.
And hey, I'm gonna throw that out there because guess what? Even what's her name? Nancy Mace here took credit for it, but she voted against it. The majority of Republicans voted against this act, which helped the nation. They voted against it, and now that the money is trickling in to help these counties and states, they're taking credit. Am I right?
I have no idea. I didn't hear anything about Nancy Mace or any of that stuff. At the end of the day,
I see the link. I see the link, Jay.
At the end of the day, Trump did great in his 4 years. His last year, he got.
What did he do? I'm asking you the question.
Improve foreign relations. We had world.
How did he improve foreign relations when they were upset and they were hoping
Who was
that
upset?
he didn't get back in?
You got to have facts to back that up. How can you speak for somebody else?
The facts are there.
Where? No,
the facts are there. The only people that he had reference for, that he loved, were the dictators.
Was everybody?
No.
England said they loved him. The Brits loved him. Russia loved him. China loved him. Korea loved him.
No.
All these people.
No.
That's factual. If we want to speak facts,
in bed with dictators. Which is why he wants to be a dictator himself. This is what he is. He's a bully. He's a petulant child. I've said it in my opinion. I've said it several times.
Let me ask you a question, and guys, what's your guys' thoughts since Trump won Tuesday? What's your thoughts on some of the things that the racial things going on in the country, such as these text messages which your sister received? Becoming a slave. I also seen some stuff on Facebook. I'm not going to name his name. I know this guy. He was in law enforcement. He ran for sheriff, but he made a statement saying like Now since Trump is in, everyone in Hollywood can lead the country. Now, after reading the comments, I kind of put 2 and 2 together and kind of saw what he meant by Hollywood. People were saying like, yeah, some of them can't afford to leave the country. That's why they have to stay. But if they do leave, it will be a better country. We're going to make America great again. He's a Trump supporter saying this. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, those, from what I've read and what I've seen, I saw the same. I think we may have seen the same thing. There was probably 20 Hollywood stars, actors, whatever you want to, talk show hosts, whatever, that said, if he's elected, we'll leave the country. I know one of those was Taylor Swift. I know one was Whoopi Goldberg. I know one was another actor. Then leave. I'm sorry, but you're so against a person that...
Now, hold on now. I heard the same thing when Kamala was running too.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I heard the same thing.
Yes.
I heard the same thing. People said the same thing.
Trump said he would leave the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well,
I didn't see it. Maybe it just didn't. I don't know. Did it flood Facebook? Because the one you're speaking
Yeah,
about,
I've seen it, but I feel like from both sides, it's stupid. It's a stupid thing to say.
yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because my mindset is this. I'm gonna be honest with you. My life was cool before all this going on. It's still gonna be cool after. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. But I didn't see that. I don't know if it didn't flood Facebook or whatever.
It flooded Facebook, man. That's why I seen a lot of people saying, a lot of Trump supporters saying the same thing. If Kamala win, I'm leaving the country. I seen the same thing. So you got that same advice for them too?
Yeah, I would say the same thing, because here's the thing. That's said in sarcasm. Okay. We all know they're really not going to leave, right?
Listen, I wouldn't even comment on it. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't comment on it. That's their opinion of how they feel at that moment, and that's feelings. Let them feel the way they feel. I'm not going to say leave the country. No, that's just not what I do. But I know Trump has said things like that. Trump has said that we should be leaving the country. Yeah. As black folks, that people from Norway should be coming in. You understand? But I'm going to go to this right now. Okay. Trump said, and Elon Musk in their interview, they find ways not to pay people overtime. Now, mind you, they have already put out there that they want to talk about not paying people for overtime work.
I forgot about that, man.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's not okay.
That's not okay, man. I want not overtime, man. That shit ain't okay.
Hang on. Let me make sure I understood you correctly. You're saying they try not to pay people overtime, meaning that they don't want to give out overtime because that's
no, Jason. They want people to work overtime, but not pay them overtime.
Not pay them for overtime.
You understand what I'm saying?
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I heard it. I heard it. Jason, I'm not even. That's why I have Craig on the show. He's the politic guy. I'm not into politics, and I heard that.
I'm not into politics that deep, and I've heard that. But here's the problem. Yeah. This is the problem that I have with these conversations that you know, regardless of who you back or whatever the case may be, I can honestly say that every person that most people that I talk to about this stuff on the Democratic side or maybe independent side, mostly, and some people on the Republican side, they hear every side of the story, all 50 sides. There is a segment, and I'm not saying that you're a hardcore Trump supporter, but most people who are for Trump or for the Republican Party, they hardly ever hear the stuff on the other side. Like, I heard about the overtime.
Yeah.
I heard all about all this stuff, and it's like, other people don't hear this stuff, and it's like, how do you not hear this stuff? It's like we zero in on this stuff because we know what it's going to affect on us, period. And it's like, the hardcore Trump supporters, it's like, oh, we don't hear that. They didn't say that. They didn't do that. And it's like, oh, it's not that serious. Like, it is that serious because we have to take the whole glass and drink from it when y'all could just take a piece of it and be, all right, whatever. And I think that's cool because if just like when Kamala was running, Everyone wants her, and this is the hypocrisy of it. Everybody wants her to detail letter for letter what she's going to do, how she's going to do it, where she's going to get the money from, and how much support she's going to have. That's what everybody wants. But Donald Trump has not explained anything how he's going to do it, where he's going to get the money from. He said, I'm going to do this. Nobody said explain how. Nobody.
No one.
Nobody. But when it comes to Kamala Harris, they like, well, how's she going to do this? And do you think she's going to have support for that? And it's like, wait a minute. How about let's just sit back and look at every angle of this and hold both to the same standard. Just period.
I heard a term on one of the news stations yesterday that she was bumping off of what he was saying. Like if they asked him a question like, how are you going to stop inflation? And he says, oh, I'm going to do a deficit reduction by blah, blah, blah. She'd mirror that at her next rally and say the same thing.
Don't they all do that, Jason?
Huh?
They all do that at some point.
No,
they do.
That was the latest thing that I saw that was going on. But it was actually after the election results came in, and people are still arguing and so forth. And now, and from a perspective of something Craig said about almost being politically correct, I guess, or addressing people in a certain fashion. I think people in general are tired of politicians making promises that they don't keep. And instead of our lives getting a little bit better, no matter who's in office, they get worse. And this one for me, this past election for me, we've struggled every single month. And I think a lot of people felt that. And what they do is they look back and they say, well, I wasn't struggling during this time. Things were great during this time. Okay. And whether I'm right or wrong, like Craig said, it's an opinion. Okay.
What policies did he enact to make their lives better?
Craig.
No, I'm asking you. It's a general question.
His foreign policy is one of them. I've already said that.
What policies did he enact?
His foreign policy. His foreign policy was top notch.
I want to ask you this question. What policy did he enact that you talk about that they were so good, that was so good under him? What policies did he enact that didn't involve them by Obama that made their lives great?
What? I just answered you.
All right.
But when you answer that question, you're talking about foreign policy, and foreign policy does not put gas in my tank. Foreign policy does not remove the ignorance in this country.
Right.
And I want to touch on something that you responded to earlier. You said you don't see ignorance. When I see a presidential candidate on stage calling people vermin and all the things that he said, I call that ignorance. When I talk about the ignorance as far as people voting and not voting, I see a lot of ignorance. And what I mean by ignorance is I know people who say it's the lesser of two evils. My vote doesn't count. I'm not voting for a woman. I'm just going to wait and see what happens. To me, that's ignorance. Because and I say that because we have arguably one of the best countries and best societies in the world. And for someone to say, I'm not going to vote because it's the lesser of two evils, or I'm going to write Donald Duck on the ballot is ignorant to me.
Ignorant. For
people to only vote during a presidential election is ignorant to me. And I say it's ignorant because everyone thinks, or a lot of people think, that their vote for the president is what matters the most. When you have to vote every 2 years for your representatives, city, county, state, whatever. If you're not voting in those elections, it doesn't matter if you only voting during the presidency, because
that's what I always say, man.
You have people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is, to me, is worthless and ignorant at best. However, people like Ted Cruz, who want to go on a trip during COVID,
Mexico,
ignorant. But when people sit back and say, oh, I'm not voting, this is what we're stuck with. And when you're talking about a politician living up to their word, I want you to show me one politician in our lifetime that has been able to say something and 90% of what they said has been accomplished.
Right. Okay. That doesn't happen.
Nope.
All right. Let me say this. What is a demagogue? A demagogue is a political leader who seeks support by appealing to the desires and prejudices of others. Who's that sound like?
Trump.
Okay, let me go with this. Make America great again. That means that we want to keep things here. Trump has so many people bamboozled, hoodwinked to think that he does that. This company that he has, Truth Social, where does he outsource to? Mexico. But you don't want Mexico over here. Where do they go to visit for vacation? Mexico.
Mexico.
But they don't want Mexico here. Only if they can use them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You understand? I'm tired of the ignorance that goes on in this country. And Jason, I'm not calling you ignorant, but when we talked about the fact that Trump talked about not paying people for working overtime, and you said you didn't know anything about it, how many millions of people didn't know anything about it? How many people would have said, ding, I can't vote for that, had they known about it? That's just
majority of the people that voted for Trump survive off overtime.
That's one. That's just one.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. I cannot say the lesser of two evils because I don't want to vote for evil, first and foremost.
Mm.
You understand? The man, in my opinion, is not good for this country because of the division aspect. He called this lady a B word in front of the people that support him, and a demagogue who appeals to the worst in a person. You understand? That's the issue I have.
Let me ask you this, Jason.
Yes, I have to love him. But do I like him? I do not.
Jason, let me ask you this.
Stance. I don't like the racist epithets that he put to divide this country.
Obama divided this country.
No. Stand back and stand by.
Watch
You
what
understand
happens.
me? Jason,
We got 4 years, right?
That's what
We
I'm
got 4
talking
years.
about, the ignorance.
Yes.
Obama said he was the president of everyone. Kamala Harris said she would be a president for everyone. Donald Trump said my MAGA, the right. He never says he wants to be the president for Democrats or independents. Never. You can look it up as far as you can.
Because the name calling is on both sides.
As a president, that's what you're supposed to do.
The finger pointing and the name calling is on both sides.
As a president, you have to be able to put that behind you. You have to be a man. You have to be someone who can say, you know what?
That's not what people.
I can be above that.
That's your opinion.
But Jason, let me ask you this. Seriously. I feel like we beating up on you because you're the only Trump supporter on here. I wish more people would have came on when we sent it out this week on Facebook, but whatever. I want to ask you this. Seriously, you have a wife, man. If someone come to your wife and call her to be or say you're gonna grab her by her woo-haw, you cool with that?
They wouldn't.
Nah, that ain't what I asked you. That's not what I asked you. Are you cool with it?
No, that's
why would you vote for a person that can say that, man?
You're referencing something the man said 20 or 30 years ago.
It doesn't matter.
Have you? Okay, that's to say every man right now in this room that is talking has never somehow, way, shape, or form either.
Jason, don't make
degraded or used a woman.
Don't make an excuse.
There's no. That's no.
This is still going
factual.
on.
It's still going on, Jay.
The way he's talking about people and the way he's talking to people, this is still going on to this day, Jason.
And I tried to explain to you earlier when I was cut off. Here's the deal. 82 million people said we're tired of the politically correct answer. We want the blunt, straightforward answer. That's what people want.
So you're okay?
You don't have to agree with it.
In my opinion, you're okay. You okay with him saying the things that he said to divide this country?
Sure am.
Okay.
Somebody needs to say it. Our politicians aren't doing their jobs. They're wasting our tax dollars nonstop. We are all suffering because, like King brought up, it starts at the lowest level in the state. And if you can make a change in that state, each individual state, we put people in place.
Jason, I can't be okay with what you said. You said you're okay with that. You said you're okay with that.
I wish there was a mute button because I cannot finish a statement.
Craig, let him finish. Craig, let him finish.
I'm agreeing. We're just looking at things a little differently. I'm agreeing what King said. It starts at the state level, and we have to correct it from there. If our state is broken, and I agree with him, the Georgia, the Taylor Greene woman, she smacked out her freaking mind, and people keep electing her. What? Like you did that to Trump. It's crazy. No, she far takes the cake than worse than anyone I've ever seen. And I get
what makes her worse than Trump? What makes her so far left than Trump? Give me some examples. I'm not familiar.
No, I honestly I can't. But
I can give you one thing.
Give me some.
I'm not going to say she's more far left than Trump, but the one thing that it's probably the first thing that made me not be able to stand her is when that child was in Washington D.C. who was from that school that got shot up. She was harassing that child. It's like you are a grown woman in public office and you are harassing a child who was involved in a school shooting. Help me understand. Now,
I didn't see that, but I'll take it.
And that goes back to what I was saying. You know, from my perspective, I see all of this because it's like all of those Republicans and Democrats who sit up in Capitol Hill up the street from where I work are responsible for all of this. And when you have those on the Republican side uplifting a man who does the same thing and they're okay with it is a problem. Mm-hmm. So if Marjorie Taylor Greene is out saying and doing stuff that's just wacky out of her mind and he's doing the same thing, but it's different because Trump is running for president, I think that's a mismatch in the logical thinking of people. And I think it's reckless because if 20 or 30 years ago, it wasn't even that long when he said, oh, when I see a pretty woman, I just go up and kiss them and grab them by the whatever. It's like, wait a minute. Why is that okay? And then to be found guilty essentially of rape.
Yeah.
And y'all still say, oh, well, his policy is this, his policy is that. Oh, he's different from this, that, and the other. I promise you, if that was a black man running for president, he would not fly past go.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying.
100%.
I promise you that. And I guarantee, Jason, if that black man was in the Republican Party and he said and done those things and was convicted essentially of rape, I promise you would not vote for him. I would not vote for him. I don't care if he's Democrat, Republican, or independent. I don't want anyone like that being a president, period.
Okay. So most people, and this is all the stuff that I've heard from news to personal opinions. People take into effect prior to Trump ever running for president. Okay. They don't report anything good he ever did. That is a fact. You don't see the children that he did help. You don't see the parents that he helped.
You mean the ones he separated from their parents?
You can Google them yourself.
I'm trying to figure this out.
After he became president, they came after him from day one. All of a sudden, he's this terrible guy, right? All of a sudden, we always known that he was this boisterous guy. You know, even on the TV program he had, The Apprentice. You're fired. You know, that was his famous thing, right? They never stopped coming after him. Here it is, 8 years later, and they ain't stopped. Failed impeachment and the nonsense with the Ukraine and Russia collusion and blah. I mean, all this nonsense, and never stopped. Then, well, we've cleared that up. We've gotten to the bottom of that. Well, you know what? We're going to sue him for this and we're going to sue him for that. And instead of having concrete evidence and saying, here it is, a criminal act. He is guilty.
They said it. Look at Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell said that, yes, it's true, but they should do it after he gets out. They should prosecute him after he gets out. Mitch McConnell said
what criminal act?
This is when he did the Ukraine thing. They said that, yes, he did it. And he said he should be prosecuted once he get out. Look it up. Mitch McConnell said this.
He sure did.
This is what Mitch McConnell said. So he did do it. It's just they were playing politics. Now, another thing that I wanted to get at. This thing's about helping people. Okay, why repeal Obamacare? That's the name. No, the Affordable Care Act. Why repeal it when you have nothing to replace it? You had blank pieces of paper. That's a fact. Okay. Why is the Republicans so hell-bent on stopping Affordable Care Act when they get it themselves? That's what they have.
Mm.
Why? Why are the Republicans trying to stop the public who can benefit from this, from having this type of insurance? You know, I'll tell you why. I heard a Republican said it. Why should I have to wait in line for someone who's down here when I'm up here? If I have cancer, I should be treated before them. I heard him say it. You understand what I'm saying? This is wrong on every level.
But see,
it's not about just you.
That's where we are agreeing. That's where my conversation was at with pointing out what King said about Marjorie Taylor Greene. We need to replace those low-level people.
But Trump is one.
Okay, so you can't vote locally and change that, make the outcome change? No, you can. You have yet to give Trump a chance without bashing him, and that is a fact.
Hey,
you have not stopped bashing him since I've gotten on here. You have not given him credit for anything he has done good. Nothing.
What has he done good?
You go that same logic with Kamala. Jason, you didn't say anything good about her.
Anything good? I saw a border out of control, and that was her primary job.
No.
It's not her primary job. That is not her job.
It's not.
That was the one assigned job she got from Joe Biden.
Bipartisan bill. Oh, I'm sorry. It was a tripartisan bill because it was Democrats, Republicans,
Joe Biden
and
assigned the border to Kamala Harris and she failed. That is a fact.
Jason,
Google it.
I'm giving you facts.
No.
Democrats, Republicans, Independents, all agreed on this bill, and Trump said no, don't pass it.
Oh, here we go.
That was immigration bill.
3 years into immigration, and you want them to pass a bill because of some fear of politics.
No, Jason, let's be logic here. Let's be logical.
No, that's logical. You invited people into our country. You said, come in. We want you. We want you. And you want to give them amnesty.
Jason, listen.
Jason, hold on. Go ahead, Craig. Go ahead.
This is a bill that they all agreed would help with immigration. They all agreed. So why be against it? Because Trump said don't do it.
Did you read the bottom of that bill?
No. I'm going to say this.
Of the bill?
Listen, I'm going to say this.
Did you read the bill?
They agreed on this bill.
Did you read the bill, Craig?
No. Trump said, and let's be real, Jason. Listen to what Trump said. Trump said, do not make them look good.
I know what he said.
Right.
Did you read the bill?
So why make everyone suffer because you want to look good?
But wait.
Did you read the bill? Did any of you read the bill?
It's trash. It's trash.
It is.
The bill is trash. But wait. This is my problem. It doesn't matter
what Trump had to say about it. If we would have passed that bill, more than I think it was $4 or $5 trillion was going back overseas again.
But wait.
Go ahead. So hold on, Jason. Hold on, Craig. Go ahead. So
this is the problem that I have when people talk about this immigration thing. Everybody now wants to say it's Kamala's fault. She was in charge. We have had an immigration problem in this country for decades.
Right.
It's been under Republican presidents and Democratic presidents. For the life of me, I do not understand why they're elevating this so high and pointing its finger so hard at the Biden administration when no administration prior to that has solved the entire problem. So when people say, oh, it's her fault, she was in charge of this, she had one job. every presidential candidate has had this responsibility, and nothing's been done. So for people to dump on Joe Biden, Kamala Harris about this and throw this bill out there, okay, yeah, the bill was, it was a bipartisan bill. They could have passed it, did this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, Trump didn't do anything for immigration when he was in office. He promised a wall that did not happen. Why? Because bipartisan Congress did not pass that bill or whatever bills that he wanted to do to build a wall. He said Mexico was going to do it. No, the hell they were not going to do it.
Not a penny.
But again, people want to say, oh, it's Kamala Harris's fault. It's Joe Biden's fault that we have all this immigration problem. It's like, no, it's not their fault. At what point is logic going to come into play and stop blaming it on the party that you don't like? Now, you sit there and say, oh, hey, everybody jumps on Trump about this, that, and other. They want to bash him, this, that, and other. I'm going to bash Trump. I'm going to bash Biden. I'm going to bash Obama, Bush, Clinton, whoever else, because we've had this problem for decades. Nobody has fixed it. So stop putting it on Biden and Kamala Harris. It doesn't matter. It's been a problem.
I know. I agree with that. I agree with your statement.
I don't care how high it is. If they fixed it 15, 20 years ago, we would not be talking about this. Period.
Correct.
Let me ask y'all this. We got 15 minutes. We got 15 minutes left. Let me ask this question, Jay. What is like I said, I'm still learning the politics thing, man. I'm really interested in it, but I'm still learning. That's why I got Craig teaching me a lot. What's the big deal about the border that upsets you?
We're taking our tax dollars for these immigrants, and instead of sending them back, we're taking care of them. And we're busing them to cities and housing them here and there in 10 cities. That is a fact. Google it. They are in 10 cities. They're in apartments. They are in hotels. They're being put up all over the place.
But who's doing that?
Who's
doing that?
The Biden administration.
No. Who's doing that? I need you to answer that question. Who's doing that? You made it up. You brung it up. Who's doing it?
The Biden administration.
No. Who is doing? Who's busing these people to these different places? And these places are actually trying to accommodate them. But who's busing them there? Who's flying them there? Who's doing this?
Originally, they all came into to shorter cities. Those were the Democrats.
I'm asking you, who is doing it? I'll tell you if you don't know.
Congress.
No.
What are you
the
talking
scientists?
About? Huh?
Jason, you know who's doing it, man.
Yeah. The scientists.
They're being bused from the border states, Republican border states, all over the country.
Yeah. That's
yes, I said that.
Biden
that's
has
not a Democrat,
more immigrants than any other president. That's a fact.
Yeah. Jason, you got anything else to say on that? Because I want to throw something out there. If you finish,
you got that.
There is so much that I didn't get to say. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if I can change your opinion or not. Okay. The fact is, this is what, and I said it, this is what people are looking at. Okay. These are the things that people are looking at to vote. When they looked at Kamala and they asked her a simple question, would you change anything over the past 4 years that Joe Biden has done? Her answer was a safety. And that's what a lot of people felt, and that changed the election to steer one way or the other. She said no. Her answer was no. That made a huge impact on all people of all colors, all backgrounds, and everything, because many American families, middle class and poor, are losing their homes. They're jobless. They can't afford to put food on the table. These are the things people are looking at that are hitting them right at home. And when she said no, wouldn't change a thing. Because we've got the highest immigration we've ever had. Okay. And we have people that are suffering more than they ever have. And when they put those together and they look back, doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong or factual or unfactual. When they look back at the Trump era, they go, man, I had $20 left over. I had $100 left over at the end of the month. I was doing great. And I can tell you from being on disability, I had a lot of money left over each month. I could choose whether I wanted to go out for pizza or have to stay home and cook dinner.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the disability thing. That's bull job. My mom is on disability, and it's even when Trump was in office, we didn't see nothing change.
Really? Because I got a 6.5% pay raise, which was $238 under Trump, and under
we didn't see nothing change, man.
It just came out was 2.3%, which is about $60.
That's you.
That's a huge difference.
That's you. That's you. I'm talking about from experience. I take care of my mom. She didn't disability. She didn't get nothing.
I'm gonna let you have that. So
yeah. Hey, so go ahead. So I know you're about to say something.
So to touch just a little before what I want to say, to touch on what people have left over, this, that, and other. People need to understand that their finances are their responsibility. If you make piss poor choices, you're gonna get piss poor results. Period.
Facts. Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
Now, 100%. And I live in Maryland, and it's expensive as hell in Maryland.
Yes,
it's always been expensive in Maryland. I don't care who was president. Period. Now, to talk about immigration, undocumented immigrants, this, that, and the other. A lot of people are out there saying, oh, they're using up resources. They're doing this, they're doing that. They're taking their jobs. I know the four of us refuse to work in agriculture and the things that they do. When people talk about they stealing American jobs.
I was about to go there.
When they talk about stealing American jobs, cut the bullshit, because I'm not working on no orange farm. I'm not picking no cotton. I'm not picking no potatoes. I'm not painting no damn houses. I'm not putting asphalt on the ground. I'm not doing
That's why I asked that question.
I'm not doing any of that. Now, to further talk about people, when people talk about they're taking resources, this, that, and the other, I want everyone out there to wrap their head around this securely. In 2022, undocumented immigrants paid $96.7 billion in federal, state, and local taxes. And what do they get out of that? Not a goddamn thing. Right. They can't get health care. They don't get the rights and privileges that we have. So when you talk about undocumented immigrants and how much they're draining the country and tearing up the country, I guarantee you, if you take all of them out of this country and ship them back to wherever they came from, or like Trump wants to just throw them out, I guarantee you our taxes will be a lot higher. I guarantee you that.
Let me ask you something. When you say undocumented, are you referencing the same thing as illegal immigrants? Are we on the same page, or is that?
Let's chill at illegal side. Let's chill at illegal, undocumented. Because we're not going to do that. Let's not do that, Jason.
The term nonstop online is illegal immigrants, meaning
Jason,
they didn't come in the correct way.
To that. Meaning they are undocumented. They're undocumented.
Right. Let's not play to that.
Define that, please. That's
Jason,
what I want.
Let's not play to that, please. On this
I
side,
want him to define something. What, King? What?
Undocumented immigrants are not citizens. They are the people who are not. They're not here enjoying the luxuries of citizens, or
did they come in legally or
resident.
Jason,
please. My point is, when those people come in here, whether they're on papers or not, they're hired by American companies. They are being taxed federally, state, and locally.
I'm not qualming that. What I'm trying to understand.
I'm telling you, the people who are brought here from come here from other countries, whether they're on legal papers or not, they're undocumented. They are paying federal, state, and local taxes. In 2022, $96.7 billion. That is listen to me.
They have a social security number.
No, they don't have a social security number. But they have no. Listen to me. They have to be taxed. If they don't get taxed, whoever hires them gets fined.
Okay.
Now, Trump was.
To add on to that, let me tell you, there are more Americans in this country who pay less or no taxes than those undocumented immigrants.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So how are they taxing them if you are taxed based on your social security number? And that's what I'm trying to ask.
They're taxed based on the companies that they are worked for. They are obligated to take. Look. You don't have to take my word for it. Go to IRS.gov. Go to IRS.gov and it will tell you. Period.
And another thing, Jason,
how is
I gotta
it?
say this before
Okay,
you
so
start.
how is the?
Jason,
I'm trying to learn
I'm
something.
not going to cut you off anymore.
Money,
I just don't want you to use. Please don't use the word illegal. Please, we're not going to do that here. We don't want to give credence to that. If I can, we don't want to give that legs.
We're going to be respectful.
They're undocumented. They're undocumented.
They're undocumented.
Donald Trump's wife, family just became legal. We never said they were illegal.
Elon Musk became legal not too long ago.
Legal. So let's not say that.
I have friends that it took 10 years to get citizenship. That doesn't mean they're illegal. It means they went the right route.
Either way.
So,
to answer your question, these companies and corporations that hire these people have to report that to the IRS. Period. Okay. That's how they're taxing these undocumented people. Period. That's how it's done. If they do not tax them federally, state, and locally, they get fined. Period.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. So when I was in the restaurant industry and I had a case like this, one of my best workers ever, and I don't remember where he was from, but Waffle House, they came in and they said, "Hey, listen, I need so-and-so social security number. It's not coming back to, this guy named Alex, whatever his name was." Right. And I said, "Oh, okay, no problem." He gave me a copy of his ID and his social security card. I said, "I got to fax this up to corporate and make sure your I-9's right because the social is not coming back to you." And he ended up disappearing one day. He left. Okay. So the money was getting taxed and pulled out of his check under this social security number that was not his, whether it was somebody's or was it just a fictitious one. That's what I'm trying to understand from you is you can't tax someone without a social security number unless you can. If you can, tell me what number, how do they track that? That's what I'm trying to ask.
Go to that website he told you about, Jason. He was trying to explain to you. It's a website you can go to. You can look it up and see for yourself how you can do that.
It's on IRS.gov. These companies have to account for the people that they employ, these undocumented individuals. And again, the situation that you're talking about, this individual had a fraudulent social security number, but you cannot give a social security number to an undocumented person. You just can't. It's impossible.
But you're not supposed to give a job to an undocumented person. That's my
okay. I'm gonna say this. Trump had his hotel full of undocumented immigrants. Yep. His hotel. That's where they work.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but IRS.gov tells you that undocumented immigrants have to be taxed. Period.
Okay. But the law states you're not allowed to employ people that are not legal citizens of this country or have applied, which gives them
horse to water.
That gives them social.
He just told you where to go to find this information. We can't go on and keep going on about it because he already told you where to go. Let's educate ourselves.
I'm going
to go there too, and I'm going to read it.
I'm wondering where the ball is being dropped. Is what I'm asking. What I was asking. Where's that ball being dropped? Because you're not supposed to employ
the ball. There's no ball being dropped. This is the way that the laws passed by Congress are made. The problem is people cherry pick what they want to have an issue with instead of grabbing everything as a whole, which I mentioned earlier. People that have certain positions, they gravitate towards certain things that are appealing to them and people who think like them. But again, a person like me on the Democratic side, I'm looking at every aspect of it because when I hear somebody say something, Google is free. I'm going on Google and I'm looking that up because I don't want to come into a conversation just with my opinion. Yeah. I can have my opinion, but I have to back it up with something that someone can go and say, all right, well, you dropped this. Let me go find this and see what you're saying. You can verify, fact check, or whatever, but I'm not going to purposely come on and give misleading information. And if I say I don't know, I don't know. I'm not going to sit there, and I'm not going to divert my opinion just to be appealing to the conversation. IRS.gov has this information. I've looked at several websites today and found this information. Undocumented immigrant, they pay taxes and they get the short end of the stick. Period.
So I just
all right, guys, you got 2 minutes.
I have
Start with Craig.
because I just looked up. What is it? Dang, I don't know if y'all can see.
We got 2 minutes, Jason. Start with Craig. What's your thoughts on the next 4 years? We'll start with Craig, Soul, and then end it with Jason.
I'm just gonna do. I'm gonna live my life the way I have been. We're gonna pray that we're gonna have to pray for him every day. We're gonna have to armor up when we leave our houses. But you know what I'm saying, as Scripture says. But I'll continue to pray for Trump, that he has guidance from the Most High to make decisions.
Yeah. All right. What about you, Soul?
I'm going to hope that all that stuff that he was talking and that behavior that he was exhibiting is not going to be the direction of his presidency, because it's just not healthy. As far as the next 4 years, I'm going to do what I need to do for me. I'm not going to depend on Trump and his policies, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, to dictate my life. However, I would hope that he puts people in place that are responsible, not people like RFK or Elon Musk, because their mindsets are not to the benefit of everyone in this country.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Jay?
I'm banking that we're going to have a good 4 years. And I think America will be sitting in a better place. And I will eat those words at year 4 if I am wrong. But thus far, about the presidencies and so forth, I've been right. And I knew he was going to get elected. I was kind of fearful, but I knew he was going to get elected because people were just tired. And one thing that we need to touch on that someone said, and you all agreed, people were living above their means. So when Obama was in, I had to live at a certain means. Okay, so that way I had money left over. When Trump came in and everything dropped, many of us, like myself, refinanced my home, and it brought more residual income in, meaning I could afford something else, which was great. Then when Biden came in, now I can barely afford these things. And that is the way it played out. Is it irresponsible for Americans to try to capitalize and benefit from that? It's not necessarily living above your means, but the huge difference in economies.
Hey, so how can they get it? How can they check out your podcast, man? What's the link?
Yeah, just you can look me up on YouTube. Look us up on YouTube, King and I Life Podcast. We've been on a hiatus, but we're trying to get back into the swing of things. So just the King and I Life Podcast on YouTube.
Man, we're going to subscribe to that, man. Hey, make sure you send me a friend request on Facebook. Guys, thank you for watching the show. It was very, interesting. Some interesting conversation. Please like subscribe to the channel, to the Miller Experience. Also, you can follow me on Facebook, Excalibur Miller, and also on Instagram, _the Miller Experience. See you guys on the next one. Peace.
For the record, I love you, Craig. No matter what.
Love you, gentlemen.
Much love, much love.
And you too, King. 30 years worth, baby.
More than 30 years, bro. More than 30 years.
Oh, God, don't remind me.
Y'all take care, man.
All right, man.
All right.